Okay,
So
go ahead.
I just wanted to, because the first point he talked about on citizenry protesting in support of the accountability issues. I think Ghana has, Gilbert is from Ghana, one of our partners from Ghana. There was a case, a court case, where the CSOs in Ghana went to protest in support of the National Audit Office. And that case was to give, asking court, because government I think had issues, asking court to give the National Audit Office teeth. Maybe you can speak to that, because I think that was a positive protest in support of accountability institutions.
The matter is even
Just introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Gilbert, the Programs Manager of Parliamentary Network Africa, and IRI is one of our partners we are working with in the Gambia. We are here promoting network building to work with the institution of Parliament as part of our Open Parliament initiatives that we are advocating for on the continent. With regards to the issue that Bina mentioned, yes, the case currently is in the Supreme Court, and that is to challenge the decision of the presidency to relieve the Auditor General of his post. And that specific Auditor General is one person that, in fact, the whole country was rousing for, because he's really doing a very good job. And he's insisting that the right things be done. I mean, irrespective of who is in power. And it was making things very uncomfortable for the presidency, so they have to find a way to get him out. And so the presidency is preaching transparency, accountability, and all that, and yet it is acting in the opposite direction. And this is the only institution that can stand and say that this is wrong and call the presidency out, call government out. And so, obviously, I mean, they have to find a way to get him out of office. And so civil society objected against that. But of course, the decision has already been taken, so we have to take it to the Supreme Court to challenge it. One of the things that I think I so much associate with my brother's presentation has to do with when the public also starts losing trust in certain public institutions and even the law court. Because as things stand now, I don't know, maybe some of you may have heard, we have the unanimous SC. You know, when we say unanimous SC, we are referring to our Supreme Court. That in every case that involves the government, they always come up with a unanimous decision, almost. And it's now very consistent. And so gradually, people are also losing faith in the Supreme Court. At least if it happens to be the lower courts, it's okay, because you know eventually you can go to the Supreme Court and then, but if the highest decision-making body of the land, people are now starting to, you know, read political meanings into the decisions that they make, then it's a major concern. So yes, with regards to that particular issue, the civil society organization has taken it to court and it's at the Supreme Court currently, and the matter is still ongoing. Maybe I just can, if I have your permission to add one or two things to the discussions. One of the things that I noticed, I mean, happening in Ghana, and I'm sure largely also that may be true here, is that immediately we vote our politicians into office, we go to sleep. So sometimes it's not too much about them, but it's more about us. Because if we go to sleep, then they would also do what pleases them, because then they think that now they take a decision for us. So we need to be on their case from the day they swear them into office, because they are our representatives. They are representing us. They are not representing themselves. So I agree with you so much. One or two MPs in Ghana do organize what we call town hall meetings to engage their constituents. But we need more of that, because any decision you take in Parliament is not on your own strength, but you are taking that decision on behalf of your people. It's because all of us cannot be in Parliament. That is why we have to, elect one person to go and represent us. So there has to be that consistent engagement with our constituents on whatever decision we are taking in Parliament. The second thing also has to do with civil society organizations. I mean, some of the civil society organizations here have done great work, impressive work, studies and surveys and all what have you. But what are we using the outcome of those work that we've done? What are we using them for? They are just publishing them and they're on their shelves and all that. I think it's about time that civil society and Parliament has that cordial working relationship where Parliament now can use some of this evidence in the kind of policy in the kind of legislation that they pass. The legislation has to be based on evidence and not because someone sits somewhere and think that this needed to be done, so we are passing the law to do that. Based on what? So there is that gap that we need to collaboratively work to bridge. Where the good work that we have done, we can give it to our politicians and help them to use that in the kind of laws that they are making. So that the laws that they are making will be laws that would immediately have impact on society. And not be the kind of laws that are passing and still we are all there and we are looking like, okay, so what is the end game for this law? What are we trying to achieve with this? Because then implementing it becomes a problem. Because it's like we are creating laws in vacuum and it's not implemented. And eventually, then the people also feels like, okay, then our politicians are even not useful to us because they pass laws that are not useful to us. So that kind of engagement, we need to be doing more of that. In fact, I'm very excited about the discussion because a lot of issues have been raised that will require a lot of thinking around it and a strategy around it in order for us to be able to find a solution that addresses the concerns of every Gambian. And then the last thing, maybe that may not be a challenge here, but it's a major challenge in Ghana, where our MPs are more loyal to their political parties than to their constituency. And I think, I don't know whether it's the same here, but we need to. And it is because their political parties most of the time are on them and are demanding. And so they feel loyal to them. Like he said, if every constituent knows that there is this provision in the Constitution where we can recall you, then the member of Parliament knows that their first loyalty lies with the people than their political party. I mean, issues come to Parliament and you know that every citizen virtually knows the position the members of Parliament will take. They will take a party line. Even when they have had consensus that we want to go to this way, and the party hierarchy calls them to say, hey, no, if you go that way, it's going to affect us in the next election, so don't. They will toe the party line. Meanwhile, the citizens are so much against that decision. And so it's so amazing how politicians still want to toe that line. It's because they know they don't fear all of us. They know at the end of the day, even if they put this phone in a particular constituency against a human being, we'll go and vote for the phone. And so they don't see that power we have over them. When we start to show them where the real power lies, then they will know where they are taking their authority from, not the political party, but from the constituents. And so I think civil society has a lot of work to do, because yes, who is really going to open the eyes of the citizens to some of these things? Certainly the politicians will not do that, because the system favors them. So it's up to us to really work a lot on the ground to get our politicians know that we hold them. Their power is in our hands. And so they have to listen more to us than the political parties. Thank you.